Hello and welcome to this class. My name is Kirsten Mubani and I'm here to take you on the subject chemistry. Our theme for this class is the chemical world and our topic is Introduction to Chemistry. Chemistry is a subject that is widely studied by students or individuals who aspire to major in sciences. But this is not to say that non-science students cannot learn a few things about chemistry, because chemistry is important to each and every one of us. Chemistry occurs in our bodies, in the food we eat, in our environment, and even in the air. Chemistry most times is regarded as a central science because it is important in the study of other sciences such as physics and biology. What is chemistry? Chemistry is a pure science that deals with matter, the substances that make up matter, its properties, and its different uses in forming new substances. We say that chemistry is a pure science because it explains occurrences. Now, there is a method known as the scientific method. This method is used by scientists when they want to give solution to problems or when they want to make new discoveries. Scientific method is therefore the process involved in making discoveries. It is also a problem-solving method that involves asking and answering scientific questions. There are steps involved in this method. And so we say that it is a step-by-step approach of 1. Identifying and defining a problem. This means that the first step in a scientific method is to identify a problem and define a problem. And so that step is known as the step of asking questions. You ask questions, you identify a problem, and you define it. The next step is gathering relevant information. Now that you've identified your problem and you've known what it is, the next thing for you to do is to gather information that is relevant to this problem. And so it takes us to the step of doing research. So the process of gathering relevant information is what we call research. Then, after the scientist has gathered relevant information, the next thing he does is to formulate a hypothesis or a reasonable explanation to this problem. This step, we call it construction of hypothesis. He tries to give a reasonable explanation to the problem at hand. And then after he constructs a hypothesis, the next thing he does is to try to test this hypothesis to see if it really solves the problem. And so he conducts experiments to test the hypothesis. And this step is known as testing with an experiment. Now, after he has done the testing, he goes on to interpret the results. And this is where we have analyzing of results and drawing conclusions. Now, when results are analyzed and conclusions drawn, if the results support the hypothesis, it means that the hypothesis is true. Now, the scientist can go on to report results. But if the hypothesis is proven wrong after the experiment is done, then it means that the scientist will have to go back to this process of constructing another hypothesis or adjusting the existing hypothesis. So he has to think again, reconstruct, adjust, and proffer a better hypothesis, which will now go on and continue with the other steps of testing with experiments. After that, he comes back again, he analyzes the new one, he draws a conclusion, and at this juncture, if the hypothesis is true, if it is now true, he can go on and proffer a result. If it is still wrong, he still has to go over and construct a hypothesis. So a scientist may have to As many times as the hypothesis proves wrong, he has to keep experimenting until the right result is gotten, and at that time you can say that a solution has been gotten, and then that hypothesis can now be called a theory. So this method is used by scientists to proffer solutions. There are several careers available to the one who studies chemistry. These careers are available in different sectors. Let us take a look at some of them. 1. The health sector. Someone who studies chemistry can work in the health sector, such as working in the hospitals, in the pharmaceutical companies, and in other health-related agencies. A chemist can work as a laboratory assistant. He can also work as a health instructor. For example, as you see these people doing. These are chemists. Also, a chemist can work in the education sector. A chemist can be a chemistry teacher in a secondary school, just as I am teaching you chemistry. A chemist can also be a chemistry lecturer in a university, such as we can see in this image. The food processing sector. Chemists can find employment in food processing sectors, and they can work as nutritionists, quality control chemists, just as we can see in this image. These are also some of the things that are produced by food processing industries. In the manufacturing industry, chemists can work as quality control chemists or production chemists. Chemical, petrochemical industries. A chemist can find employment as an analytical chemist. In the agricultural sector, someone who studies chemistry can find employment as a horticulturist or as a farmer. Even in the cosmetic industry, we have chemists there who work as research and development chemists. So these are varieties of sectors where chemists can comfortably find employment. Now, there are a lot of areas that chemistry can be applied. Application and uses of chemistry. In medicine, chemistry can be used in the production of drugs and other pharmaceutical substances. In housing, chemistry is used in the production of materials that we use in building our houses, such as cement, steel, and tiles, as you can see here. In transportation, chemistry is used in the production of fuels that we use in running our engine, such as we can see. Our cars use petrol, and these petrols are produced by chemists. Also, they produce metal alloys that are lighter, stronger, and more heat resistant, that are used in making things such as our automobiles, the metro train, and even our airplanes. In agriculture, chemistry is used in the production of food preservatives, fertilizers for improved crop yield, and production of insecticides and pesticides. In space science, chemistry is used for research and for development purposes. Chemists also work hand in hand with other scientists, such as geoscientists or space scientists, in making research. Defense. Chemistry is used in the production of weapons that countries can use to defend themselves or to go into war with other countries. Textiles. Chemistry is used in the production of clothing and footwear. As you can see, chemistry is what turns a raw material such as cotton into the dress that we can wear. Chemical activities also turn materials such as hides and skin into this kind of product, a shoe that can be worn by men. Also, chemists, through some chemical processes, can make use of animal fur to produce clothing we use to protect our body against cold. Also, they make use of raw materials such as latex to produce things like hand gloves that we can use. So the uses of chemistry is something that is endless. Now, as much as chemistry is very, very important, there are some disadvantages to these chemicals that are available for use by chemists. Number one, drug abuse. This is known as misuse of drugs. Some people misuse drugs, especially the ones that you and I take for the treatment of several ailments. We misuse these drugs when we do not take them according to doctor's prescription. Another way that some chemicals are misused is some people take some substances that are regarded as hard drugs, and they take these substances, and these substances react in their body to cause harm. 2. Poisoning. Intake of harmful substances. There are some substances that when we consume them are very, very dangerous or harmful to our bodies. And most times such substances, we consume them unconsciously. For example, our cleaning agents that we use to clean our homes and items in the house. We also have insecticides that we use to kill mosquitoes and other insects around the home. We also have the air fresheners that we use to make our houses smell nice. All these items are made with chemicals, and these items, when we use them without washing our hands, or even when we inhale them, they can cause harm to our bodies. 3. Corrosion. Gradual wearing away of metals. Some metals, when they come in contact with chemicals, can get corroded. You can see in this image we have an underground metal pipes that have become corroded due to the activities of chemicals on them. We also have some building materials that have become corroded because of exposure to chemicals. 4. Pollution. This is known as the release of harmful substances into the air, land, or water bodies. Most industries, especially chemical industries we have around us, produce chemicals as byproducts, and they produce these chemicals in very large quantities. And so, when these chemicals are released into the air and we inhale them, they cause harm to our body. Also, when these chemicals spill on land, they can render an entire land useless, especially for farming. Such land will not support farming anymore, or even the construction of houses, except some certain activities are done to regain back the former nature of the land. Also, on water bodies, some chemicals are spilled into water bodies such as rivers, streams, seas. When this happens, the chemicals tend to kill the animals that are present in the water. So all these are disadvantages that chemicals can give to us. We have come to the end of our class. Let us take a quick summary to know how far we can remember. We said that chemistry is a pure science that deals with matter, the substances that make up matter, its properties, and its different uses in forming new substances. We also said that scientific method is the process involved in making discoveries. And then we outlined several careers that are available in chemistry. Some of them are in the health sector, in food processing sector, in cosmetic industries, in chemical and petrochemical industries. And then we said that there are different uses of chemistry. They are used in medicine, for housing, transportation, agriculture, it's C. And then disadvantages or adverse effects of chemicals are drug abuse, poisoning, corrosion, pollution. Let us take a quick test to know if we can remember some points we stated earlier. Which of the following is a step involved in scientific method? A. Testing the scientific method. B. Giving out relevant information. C. Identifying the problem. If your answer was A or B, you're wrong. Our correct answer is C. Remember, we said that one of the steps in a scientific method is identification of a problem. A is wrong because, say, testing the scientific method. This is not a step. B is also wrong because it says giving out relevant information. The step involved in a scientific method is not the giving out of relevant information, but the gathering of relevant information. With this, we have come to the end of our class for today. I'll see you again. Thank you.